Hello, my name is Braden Stowe, and today my presentation will be over the rodeo industry. Rodeo industry. Some objectives. I'd like my audience to gain a more understanding of the topic of the rodeo industry. I'd like them to understand it on a deeper level about all sorts of events and everything that happens within the industry. I'd also like them to gain a further and deeper educational background on the agricultural and rodeo industries. Rodeo is a popular sport. There are many events such as bull riding, team roping, and others that I will dissect later in my presentation. Rodeos span over a multitude of ages, starting as young as 2 years old, moving to elementary level, middle, and then high school rodeos. And after that, that leaves the collegiate and professional stages. There are many different rodeo circuits. The more popular ones are the PRCA circuits. This stands for the Professional Rodeo Cowboy Association, and there are about 12 circuits within this one. There's also the WPRA, which stands for Women's Professional Rodeo Association. There are many different circuits, but arguably speaking, in my personal opinion, the Texas rodeo scene has got to be one of the best. One rodeo that we all know and have probably been to in our lifetimes, if you're from this area, is the Houston Rodeo. It's one of the largest events in the United States, and it brings people from all over the world to come and see it. Now into some more events. So there are two different types of events. You have your rough stock events, which contains saddle bronc riding, bareback riding, and bull riding. These events are required so the person can ride a bucking animal for 8 seconds to obtain points. Then, on the flip side, you have your time events. These events contain steer wrestling, tie-down roping, team roping, breakaway roping, and also barrel racing. The objective of these timed events is that the person is required to rope an animal or run a pattern in the least amount of time. There are many different types of participants in a rodeo, and the rodeo goes more than just what you see in front of you. It can have anybody from announcers in the stands, people working in the background, people who take care of the animals who aren't even listed on any of the paperwork or credits or anywhere that you might see. But nonetheless, cowboys and cowgirls are the people who actually compete. Stock contractors are responsible for providing the livestock as well as taking care of them. Announcers are there to relay the information about the animals and things that may be seen in front of you. And then rodeo clowns are a very popular type of participant. These guys are there in more of your rough stock events to help keep your athletes safe from the animals that they are competing with. But participants, like I said, can go deeper than that. People who sponsor the events, people who take care of the animals. There's more than just what you see in front of you. Now we move on to different rodeo equipment. Saddles are a huge piece of rodeo equipment that are used as a seat for riders to compete comfortably in. You have chaps, which are not only a stylistic choice, but they're there to help use leg protection and provide individual style, like previously mentioned. Then you have straps and ropes, which are more common in most animals and most events in the rodeos. You'll see these. There's just a series of straps and ropes that are used to secure a rider to the livestock animal of their choice. Then you have protective gear, such as helmets and vests. These pieces of equipment are simply there to protect our athletes. This sport does get very dangerous as you're dealing with live animals that really are not predictable, even under the most controlled environments. This graph here is just going to go ahead and show some of the information about injuries that occur during the rodeo. As you can see, 62.9% of injuries are from animals in this sport. Like I said, even under the most controlled environments, it's very unpredictable what the animal may do. Moving on, the smaller orange triangle here that you'll see are going to deal with contusions, whether that be from colliding with something, the animal pushing you into something. It happens. Now we move on to a smaller yellow triangle there. That's for sprains and other small injuries. And then the green triangle there, that's gonna show you the percentage that happens with concussions. Head injuries are very common in this sport, but they do get outranked by some of the larger injuries. Rodeo animals. There are many types of rodeo animals, but the more common ones you'll see at a normal rodeo would be a bull or a steer, and possibly calves, horses, sheeps, goats. But the big issue here, there's a controversy surrounding these rodeo animals. The controversy is somewhere along the lines of stating that these animals that are brought into the rodeo are not very well taken care of. In fact, the people who believe that this is true think that the animals are neglected, possibly even beaten, and other worse things happen to them. However, that cannot be further from the truth. The people who compete in this sport treat these animals like one of their own. These animals are almost equivalent to if you have a dog or a cat at home. They share the same love and respect for the animals that you come home to your own pets. They're taken care of, they're fed well, they're treated for all injuries, they're exercised, groomed, whatever needs to be done, they're taken care of to the fullest extent. And that's very important for these animals as they are on a competitive stage. Cultural effects of the rodeo. The rodeo community is a large and deeply historical one. You never know through the hundreds of years of rodeo history what you might come to understand. People from all over the world come together to watch, compete, and share a very unique interest for this sport. There are also very good economic effects. The rodeo runs deep. The tourist attraction is strong, and this creates waves of economic benefits for not only the rodeo, but the cities they are in. Whether it be from charitable events to bringing in a new business idea, the rodeos are a great cultural melting pot for all people. Other events you might see at rodeos. Not all rodeos are one event. You're not always just going to go to a rodeo and see animals being roped or ridden. For instance, at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, we host an art event, photography events, cooking events, and even a stock show. All these events are there and they all provide scholarships or charitable giveaways in some way, shape, or form. This just goes back into the previous slide of talking about how economic benefits can come from such sport. Community outreach. Rodeos do not only benefit the circuits themselves. As I said before, rodeos open scholarship opportunities for students and all involved, as well as large charity events are held at most rodeos. For instance, at Houston, if you've ever been to Houston Rodeo, they do the calf scramble, and that's a very large charitable event. Rodeos are also known for large numbers of jobs while the events are being held. The Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo employs all sorts of people for the week, 2, 3 weeks, or even the month if they'd like to. Some rodeo legends. Lane Frost was a top cowboy of his time. Lane Frost was killed in a tragic rodeo accident. It's very popular if you do your research into it. He was killed in Cheyenne, Wyoming, during his famous bull ride. You can actually watch a movie about it. It's called 8 Seconds. It goes into his life as a bull rider and explains how he died. Chris Ledoux, famous musician, bull rider, competed in a lot of rodeo events. His music career helped bring awareness to the rodeo way of life. And it basically said that, I like being a cowboy and this is how I'd love to live. Now, onto the animal side of things. There's a bull. His name is Red Rock the Bull. Red Rock was a very famous bull in the rodeo. He was ridden a total of 309 times, and only one out of those rides was he ever able to keep a rider on for the full 8 seconds. Future trends. The rodeos are turning into a motion of cleaner experiences for your environment. Each day, technology advances, and rodeo communities all over the world are looking into the development of new things to keep the environment clean for all involved through the rodeo. Since injuries are a very prominent part of rodeo, communities involved in rodeos themselves are looking to advance their technology to keep not only the athletes, but the animals safe. Rodeos are also looking into VR experiences for their viewers and live streaming events to try and become more mainstream with the newer media types. My conclusion. Rodeo is a sport that is only gaining popularity and is becoming more mainstream to this day. Rodeos will continue to break records for viewers, prizes, and community outreach. There isn't much that is not to like about a rodeo. Every time somebody goes, there's something for everybody there. The sport of rodeo is only beneficial to who all are involved and will continue to do so through the ever expanding sport of rodeo. Thank you very much.